Orders are due this week at I Want More Comics and Games for over 300 items. Always check out our final orders due page to get your books and beat the release week rush. We work to list every available and open order comic, trade paperback, and manga so you can get exactly what you want. Showcased this week, we see new number ones and top variants, Catwoman's debut in the Absolute Universe, new creative team on Transformers, and titles from Bad Idea and Oni Press. See 2 collections worth checking out, including loose ends from friends of the shop, Dave Dwunch and Travis Heimel. Add second prints to catch you up. Place your order before 6 p.m. Monday night, and select from shipping options or in-store pickup. See you at release.
As we open up our Sunday Night Fun.
That's correct. We are back with another live show, Final Orders Due show. This is about comics that are coming up next month, but we have to order them now. So we have until Monday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time to get your orders in.
This is a live show and set up for you guys to watch on replay. If you've joined us live, please chat with us. Keep the conversation rolling and point out the things that you think we should be chatting up and seeing here. So we got get to the right screen here. It's slightly smaller week this week. Most of the weeks are running around 400 items sorted. This is about 330-ish, somewhere in that area. But that doesn't mean that there's not stuff to cover.
And there is I have a lot.
Is your notes extensive?
I brought in a lot of trade paperback and hardcover discussions because of those being more specific to special ordering. And I thought we'd talk about a few number ones that are kicking off with this order as well. So I have a few things to take a look at. For to get here.
Yeah, friendly reminder of where we start on this is on iwantmorecomics.com. We are there underneath the shop. We have here Final Orders Due, the second tab of our 3 useful top tabs. Do join us later in the week. On Tuesday night, we will cover new releases this week for what's going to go on for Wednesday. And then this is the once a month show week. We will be back on Thursday with the ordering catalog. So back to final orders due for today. And let me put a link in the comments so everybody can turn around and chase along with us.
Excellent.
What you got?
We can start with the obvious, which I think is right on the front page. Absolute Batman number 13, right there, front and center. The unique part about this, obviously, Absolute Batman's hot. Everybody's going to want it. But this is also our introduction to the Absolute Catwoman. We have seen her in the series, so it's not necessarily her first appearance, but it is first cover appearance, and we have a lot of variants, just really cool variants, and I thought we'd show them off, starting with that art germ. I think there's a foil as well there. And then we also have a gorgeous David Nakayama and Frisson variant. All very good. I think that if you're going to want multiples of these, which you may or may not, now is the time to be able to do that. And if you just want a run of all of them, might as well pick them up now. Get them on order.
Easy to place your order and have it for either in-store pickup or for shipping. That's what we do.
In the same vein, Absolute Green Lantern trade paperback is also available for those that didn't pick up the series. Maybe you want to pick them up in trade. This is a perfect opportunity to make sure you're ahead of the game on that, so don't miss out on Absolute Green Lantern, the first volume there. And to stick with the first page antics and the DC content, Batman number 1 is getting its second printing, and second printings are interesting orders. And I thought we'd highlight those to make sure that everybody else gets a potential to get the one they want. I'm not sure how many we're ordering off the top of our dome on this one. Typically, second printings aren't going to be a ton of orders, but there are some really cool covers here, particularly like the Jorge Jimenez chair variant that is unique for the second printing. But this is a make sure you get in and pick up second prints for this guy, because they're not going to be as in an abundance like the first issue was.
We personally will be deeper on the Bat Signal. It's the classic second print right here. Everybody can kind of remember that. I do think that the other two arts that are out here, they're all same kind of level, but they're very cool for that, and a lot of stuff going on there. And then the Dan Mora does have regular treatment and foil treatment. So if everybody kind of sees what DC does with this, is that your main one here will have the lowest price point and will have the regular cover for it. Whereas as soon as you start stepping up to the next two, you get into that cardstock cover and then the foil treatment for the last one.
There we go. All right. So let's start off with another, like a wacky one here called High Strangeness. And I think it's Oni Press.
Yes, that's what it was.
It's actually combined with what's something called SpectraVision. SpectraVision is actually run by Elijah Wood and Daniel Nora, the film producer from independent movies like, there's a ton of them, but like Carmeno is the one I know of. Either way, these guys have started doing kind of like genre bending kind of stories and things like that. High Strangeness is going to be like a new documentary. There's new stories. It's anthology diving into documented cases of paranormal phenomenon. So it's like actual true stories. And then, so it kind of reminds me of Tinnin's Blue Folder.
Is exactly where I was going.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this one's in real. It goes into all of them and kind of twists them to turn them into cosmic wonder or existential horrors. They're double sided. They're very new. They have, in theory, they're going to plan to make more and more of these. So I think it'll be really cool to jump in and check them out, but a very independent title. So something you might want to make sure you check out.
Nice for that.
Next.
Besides, it's Jock on the cover if you don't want to like.
That is correct. Yes. So. Yeah. And there's a foil as well.
Foil Jock. Yep.
Next up, we have, I was bringing up, this is a favorite of most people, but it is, where do I have it? It's the Peanuts Essentials. It's called Essential Peanuts hardcover.
Yep. I've got.
By Abraham, I think.
Yep. Abrams. Yep.
Abrams. Sorry. Thank you. So this thing is just, I think these are unique to actual special ordering. Like these things probably aren't going to make it to the rack, but this is something that I know people are interested in and could be an excellent gift. I know it's a little early to talk holiday shopping, but it's not so far off that it's crazy. This is the 75th anniversary of it. It has 8 ready to frame prints, 5 vinyl stickers, 8 postcards, an iron patch, a full coloring comic book. It's got a 336 page full hardcover, including the gift ready slipcase. It is ridiculously nice. And I think for $75, it's kind of cheap and it's unique.
I'm kind of highlighting on the screen there all of this ridiculous list of
there you go.
And creators that are part of this. So it is definitely a bring it all together kind of labor of love.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a unique one. You might want to make sure if that's something you might like in your life, I'd grab that. One I wanted you to explain is actually Big Burn hardcover, which is right there on the page.
Okay.
I wanted you to explain the difference between the $30 one and the $75 one.
Well, let's dig. Let's get right to the whole thing. Obviously, this should be a mass market. The $30 one is available. Lee Garbet on the cover for that, who's also did all of the interiors. These distillery books, I was seeing if it said it there, if it was a 3-parter or a 4-parter, they're typically 3-issue, 4-issue.
Usually about 3, yep.
And all things distillery are done on magazine format. So they are all larger, a little bit more, give a little bit more room for the art to live with there. So that. Now, if we look at the Jay Lee cover, which I gotta just zoom in because Jay Lee's a favorite of mine, and Devil Elvis is, you've gotta acknowledge you've gotta have something out there for that.
Yes.
and all this. So this is a higher quality, and usually because of that becomes a more limited print run.
Mm-hmm.
As a store, if we're going to carry this on the shelf, the $30 one makes a lot more sense. It's something that's accessible. Someone who's coming in to look for this is somebody who's heard about the story or chases, the creators, with what they've done next kind of ideas. So $30 makes a lot more sense. 75 is it's the gotta love it version if you want to compare it to Cold Stone ice cream, right? It's the go big, go home kind of idea there. So they do this, and then typically what will happen is if there's ever a point in the future to reprint this because they've sold through their stock, they will have no problem reprinting the mass market one, the Lee Garbe cover, but this one is typically going to be printed as a one and done.
There you go. So makes it limited print. This isn't evergreen as much as the other one might be. We could probably get difference of the other one if you want to take your time on that. However, this guy is going to be, you want to order it now, because if you don't, it might be gone. In the same vein of hardcovers, I thought we'd talk about some local heroes with Loose End trade paperback from Titan Comics.
I had to include them in my video there.
Of course.
Good friends of the store. This is their team up here. Dave Dwanch and Travis Heimel have got their story Loose Ends. We carried it, promoted it. It was done by Titan underneath the Hard Case Crime imprint. And they had some good variants for it too. And all that.
They really did. And it actually had a pretty good amount of success as well. A lot of people enjoyed it. And it is very much like 90s, heist movie style kind of thing. I think that if you're into anything, like it says right there, Desperado Swingers, Reservoir Dogs, like it really does hit on all of those. It's a love letter, and it does its own unique thing at the end, which I really enjoyed. I love those guys, and I'm very happy that their book is now available to purchase. So make sure to grab one up. But again, we sold a lot of them in single issues, so that we might not have a ton for our rack. I want to make sure that you guys get an opportunity to buy it and trade if you somehow missed it on the single issues.
Yep. The other one I would hit just because it's right next door to it.
Let's go.
We talked about it at our first catalog.
Oh, yeah. It's on my list. Let's chat.
Yeah.
But of course,
I want this. I want a big shiny spotlight on this. Now, I talked to somebody who loves Lone Wolf and Cub and absolutely is one of the favorites. Says, well, I went out and specifically found all the original mini ones and all this. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. You wouldn't need to get this. But if you have missed out, if you do not have your definitive version of Lone Wolf and Cub, I would recommend this. It's going to stretch out to 10 or 11 hardcovers. It's going to be a large, there it is. Nom's coming in 28 of the small, tiny editions and all this. They're really kind of cool. It was a format that Dark Horse gave up on and reformatted afterwards. So they also kind of stand out. Nom's versions are kind of cool and collectorish. But if you don't have this, you should have this. This is Comics 101. And this is a great format for it. I will tell you, we have an alternative if you're looking, that's a lot of money. I think they're $19.99 for this size in the trade paperback.
Correct.
And they should, I believe all of them are available in print right now. So you can read it or, at least try out one and get this. But when Dark Horse gets to this size and to this quality, it is really, a strong presentation. And having this, if you've got the bookshelf space, by the time 11 volumes come out of it's going to be impressive. I know Sean's already kind of like wrestling with, do I upgrade or, do I replace or whatever with this? He's kind of down that because you can see what the quality of this is going to be if you come to the store and take a look at Berserk. So exactly, they did something very similar, different color on the cover, but you can make that imagination in your head.
Yeah, I'm definitely in on this bad boy. I will be following it from here on out. Toby, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Welcome to the show.
All right, let's chat about Bridge Planet 9. I did not write them down.
Well, if I don't know, I'll just type it in.
It is a trade paperback.
Oh, well, and it's probably just on page 1 then. Let's go back that way. I did see it come up right in that list.
Mm-hmm.
But
right there. Yeah. So this is another unique kind of trade that I thought we could talk about. It is basically a planet that was built for resources that has been abandoned by everyone. And now there's a bunch of corporations basically just sneaking in and heisting the entire planet for its resources, while the people on the planet are trying to survive the onslaught and maybe maintain either some type of life. Seems really cool, very indie sci-fi style. I think it's a one and done, and I think people might enjoy it. So I thought I'd highlight it.
I'm pretty sure this is just straight OGN. Like this is the first.
Yeah, I think. Yep, it's never been out before. It's all straight up. Yep, you're right.
Yeah. So Jared Throne's there, right there, and being under Top Shelf. That's again where IDW prints a lot of that type of stuff. That is specifically for this kind of market, as opposed to comics that were collected on other graphic novels.
Mm-hmm. We'll go from there to Image Comics, specifically Skybound, to talk about Transformers number 25.
Ooh,
so why would we talk about Transformers 25? Well,
we always talk about Transformers.
Yeah, you always want to chat about it, but there's big news on Transformers 25, being that it is actually a new creative team taking over. We are saying goodbye to Jorge Corona and Daniel Warren Johnson, and we are saying hello to Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora. This is a new arc, a new series where we ended with issue 24 that came out on the rack this last week, and now we're into a new era of the Transformers. It ended with a big blowout bash with Megatron, for those that haven't been paying attention. Spoiler free, they actually gave us the first issue of Transformers, or the first issue of this arc, and it kind of explains everything for you. So if you haven't read it or kind of want to know where you can jump on, this is a good way to do that. Again, also a ton of great variants because of that.
You got to point out the DWJ. Just
really do. Yes, pulling out the tape.
Everybody from my age group has had this battle with a cassette tape.
Yeah,
that he's having there with sound.
It's going to need a huge pencil to help him.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
We'll go from there to A Bad Idea. And we're going to talk about Save Now.
I was going to point out, in case you've missed it, I believe we still got first prints. Cul-de-sac has hit a second print here. But Save Now is definitely should be on your radar for an evaluation.
That is correct. We have the great Matt Kent, Thomas Giorello. This is the team behind like Berserker and Star Wars and things like that. And it's the new comic for Bad Idea Comics, for those that follow along for them. This one has a gentleman with an ability to save any moment of his life and then go back and relive it from that point forward, which is pretty insane. That concept is crazy and good enough to read, but the idea that Matt Kent's behind that makes it even more attractive to me. I think that we have a lot of unique story for this bad boy, and the artwork is going to be great as well. But Bad Idea for us it's not a big order. And I want to make sure that if you are into the Bad Idea and Matt Kent and all them, that you don't miss out by making sure you order today.
We reset the Bad Idea all-in list. So that is down. Nobody's on that unless you have turned around and re-upped with us about that. We're typically just subscribing you to the individual books now. The Bad Idea is a little bit more traditional in their distribution, so it's a little bit more there. And there's one other part that goes way back on this, that the team of Kent and Giorello, I think, started up their days on that first Valiant Exo Manowar.
I think you're right.
And that one was a mine.
One of our favorites, yes.
Yeah, the art inside of that was there. Nam brings up, was that new Red Hood completely canceled, or will he keep the solicits for issues from 2 and 3? It is
What Red
completely
Hood?
canceled.
What is he talking about? I've never heard of it.
Definitely not the news of the week. It is completely canceled. They are going to turn around and reevaluate what they're going to do with the character and decide if they're going to do any other stories. But this series right now going forward is not going forward.
There you go. We'll jump into Marvel Rivals trade paperback. This is for my video game friends. Marvel Rivals has been doing web comics for quite some time. As they, right before a new update, they typically have a cool little comic book, web comic that goes along with it. And what they've done is they release them as little one-shots, because web comics take forever and they're not very big. So they do like a one-shot comic book, and that's the entire trade, quote unquote. But the Marvel Rivals trade is going to be all those one-shots slammed together into one. So if you've missed any or didn't know about it, this is a really quick way to jump in. You can see right there, it's collecting Marvel Rivals, Marvel Rivals Hellfire, Marvel Rivals Ignite, and the swimsuit special Friends, Foes, and Rivals. So there's a lot of cool stuff. It's all on brand. It's all from the video game and for the video game. If you're into that and would like to, experience your world or expand that world into the comic books that you love, this is a great way to do so.
There are 2 points to the way Marvel Rivals stories kind of get told. Is obviously the video game is its own autonomous universe. What's going on there? You can feel like, oh, well, it's kind of like Battle World, where heroes are plucked from different areas to, solve the cosmic problem, and they're in conflict with each other for this. But the newest update that just came out over the weekend came out with additional story when they brought in Angela and they're bringing in Daredevil. And one of the things I want to point out is I read that part about what they thought the story was and how it all fits and what they were doing. And they are deeply rooted into a lot of ideas inside Marvel that are not necessarily the one for one as to what goes on in our universe, or what we think of 616 or the Ultimate Universe. They use a lot of the points and the details like that. And they had reasoning why they pitted Daredevil when he turned around and went to hell versus Angela inside of all this. And their logic and their talk through was really kind of captivating to me, because I thought that they put a lot of heart and had fandom behind what they write.
I agree. There's a ton of writing in that game. Like, they really, really care, and like more than they actually need to. I've read a few of their things. And I'm like, okay, goodness.
There's a couple games that do it well. I mean, probably the Batman Arkham series, right? Has a great story to it. I say it fits more than that. Then this is just a cash grab kind of, dumb book. Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's they could just put out new characters, but for some reason they're like, no, we're gonna do it right every time, and that's very nice.
Paul Allure and Peach Momoko writing this stuff you've got professionals at the helm. So this is something that's fun.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Temporal. I think I have the Temporal is going to be under Mad Cave Studios.
Okay. The cover grabbed me because the variant.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff here. The thing that I really enjoyed is that I really trust Stephanie Williams as a writer. This is going to be temporal thieves, like time thieves, really good time thieves retire, and then they actually start a family together. They get out of the business, out of the gang, and married life and suburban life kind of weighs down on the wife. And during a birthday party, the kiddo says, oh, they kind of get scammed for a retro console. And she goes, you know what? What's wrong with going to do one more job? And then that job turns into chaos incarnate. She hides it from her husband, and it kind of turns into like trying to get out but can't leave kind of thing. And I thought that the story is interesting enough, and the Mad Cave's just independent enough that I should highlight it and kind of show off a unique story that might be coming up in a month or two. All right. Let's go to Power Fantasy number 12.
That's Image.
That is Image. Power Fantasy is kind of like Transformers, where we're going to have a new arc. If you've been following Power Fantasy, goodness gracious, was 11 insane. It's about basically demigods that have way too much power, kind of, and the ripples of effects that they have by just living their day-to-day life. If you could just scroll to the insert there, that's all you really need to read because it's hilarious. And I think that it will explain how absolutely crazy this book is. Karen Gillian, of course, a genius writer. This team can do no wrong, and Power Fantasy has been great. So if you haven't joined in, this is a perfect time to jump in. It is issue number 12.
Try it. If you like it, we do stock the trade. So you can turn around and catch up with the others with 2 trades and be 100% hip to the Gillen world.
The next 2 are older comics that are being re-solicited that I think everybody wants to read. The first one's under Marvel, and it's called Hawkeye, My Life as a Weapon. For those that are enjoying Matt Fraction's Batman, this is Matt Fraction's coup de grace for Hawkeye. This is, if you like the Hawkeye TV show, you owe all of it to this series right here. It's going to feature all the pomp and circumstance, all the sarcasm. It has Pizza Dog in it. This is the premiere collection. It's one of those things we can't keep on the shelves because when it's there, it gets sold. So having a premiere edition is going to be great. It has the entire run from 1 to 11, the first full arc from that run. And when I say it's a must read, I'm not joking. It is a must read, not as a Hawkeye fan, but as a comics fan in general. If you like the idea of Avengers, you need to read this book.
Aja's art really kind of fits this, like it just stylistically just was the perfect recipe.
It really was.
Telling the tale. And I've always been a fan of Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, all the way back to the Young Avengers days.
Yes. And the voices on this are pitch perfect. Next, we're going back to DC for Wonder Woman, Spirit of Truth, which I cannot believe is getting a reprint.
Yeah, this cover kind of stands out, doesn't it?
It sure does. This thing I haven't seen since the early 2000s. Everybody talks about him. We talk about him a ton on the stream sale. But this is Paul Dini, the man behind Batman the Animated Series, doing Wonder Woman tale, like the earnest idea of what Wonder Woman is, all portrayed through insanely detailed Alex Ross artwork. This was presented in a bigger format and it was stunning, very hard to keep nice. And the comic books out there aren't plentiful. This is because they were so big and kind of expensive. It's really, really cool to get a hardcover to be able to put on your shelf and enjoy. When it comes to like just core Wonder Woman, if you just need to know who Wonder Woman is, this is the perfect book. And I think it's unique that it's getting a reprint, and I want to support it so we can get others as well.
It's also at a reasonable price at $19.99.
It really is for a hardcover. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a couple more. The next one I have is going to be a manga, and it's going to be under Floating World Comics, but it's called Red Knight Trade Paperback. This is by Hanawa Kazuchi. And the thing about this is that if you're into comic book history and things like that, you could, the idea of like independent comics and like underground comics and such like that. This is the same sort of thing, but this is actually underground manga. So these are reprints and collections from this gentleman who was really, really popular in the 70s. He brought a ton of it just wasn't for the masses. This is going to be like violent, world of obsession, madness, gore. There's all these like thriller aspects to it. It's going to be very independent, and I think it's very niche, very completist. So if you're a manga historian and really want to know like those people that were in the underground kind of fighting the censorship of even their releases, this gentleman's been mocked a ton of times. There's been a bunch of homages. They've stole his style before, but this is a incredible book. It's the first collection in English since 2006. So I think it's a really cool, unique book that I try to highlight.
Yeah, 20 years since an English reprint on this. So
that's bonkers. So very independent, but also very cool. Next, I want to talk about Super Creep Show.
Yep, for Image.
Yep. Super Creep Show is going to be a one-shot. If you're on Creep Show, you'll get it, but there's a cool variant that's obviously an homage to Frank Miller and Dark Knight Returns, so you want to be on that. And the last one I have is Godzilla Destroys Marvel Universe.
Oh, yeah.
There was just a variant that really popped out to me.
All right, that will be... I had a hard time picking one variant on this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to highlight it, and honestly, the JTC, John Tyler Christopher,
yes,
action figure ones have done really well that they've done on this. This
the
kind of black light ACO.
The ACO is what I'm seeing, man. It's just that
but
thing.
Even the Watcher, you know,
yeah,
like
it's the Wolverine. Come on, but that ACO, like as I was just scrolling, I was like, goodness gracious, what is that? Oh my.
We'll give it the full screen for a second.
It's so good. That's just good. Yeah. So don't miss out on that really cool variant. I think it's unique. You should grab it.
Plenty more that we don't even cover. That
honorable mention. We have Death to Pacheco from Dark Horse Comics and X Manhunt, the trade paperbacks coming out as well. If you miss those. The
Tron variants are heating up. I'm getting a lot more pre-orders on those.
Mm-hmm.
So especially we're gonna have a big one to cover next week.
There's also some Fire Muppets,
ahead. But I mean, like even this homage to, you know, Incredible Hulk #1, the Benjamin Sue one, and all this. Those are there. We've talked about Muppets. You know, there's so much stuff to go there. Please take your time, scroll through here, and all this. Anything you guys are looking for. Orders in by 6 o'clock tomorrow are pretty much guaranteed, as long as they don't turn around and cancel books or
cancel the whole series. If that happens, then not our fault.
That happens very rarely at this stage. If it's made
sure
deep into the FOC, it's pretty much a green light go.
There you go.
So you can turn around and put your orders and requests in, and we will get you taken care of.
That's everything for this week. Catch us on Tuesday for our new Comics This Week show, for the half-hour hype, and Thursday for our catalog, which is a monthly show where we go through the whole catalog of everything dropping in December. Is that right?
Math. I think we're finishing here November.
November.
I think it's November's.
So there you go.
Double up on Wednesday in the afternoon. It's me, and this time on Marvel Cards, we're kind of crossing over. We're going to hit the Magic the Gathering set this week.
Ooh, Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man and Magic the Gathering will be on that. And then we'll be 5:30 with the normal stream sale.
Sean and I will take over on that point to send you off for the week. Okay, gang, that's everything for My Want More Comics. We will see you soon.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Orders are due this week at I Want More Comics and Games for over 300 items. Always check out our final orders due page to get your books and beat the release week rush. We work to list every available and open order comic, trade paperback, and manga so you can get exactly what you want. Showcased this week, we see new #1s and top variants, Catwoman's debut in the Absolute Universe, new creative team on Transformers, and titles from Bad Idea and Oni Press. See 2 collections worth checking out, including loose ends from friends of the shop, Dave Dwunch and Travis Heimel. Add second prints to catch you up. Place your order before 6 p.m. Monday night, and select from shipping options or in-store pickup. See you at release.